Welcome to the 13th episode of the Illegal Use of Hands to the Face Football Podcast. How you doing, Jake?
Great, Hayden. How are you?
Wonderful. We got a great show lined up today. Kickers, punters, everything.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
It's everything everyone has ever dreamed of. Talking about
hmm
the guys who put the foot in football.
Yep. This is something that I was looking forward to when we first conceived this podcast was scouting kickers and punters for the NFL draft.
And putting, well, you probably put a lot more thought into it than I did.
I watched a decent amount of film.
Oh, okay. That's scary. Oh man, I don't know. Here, we got some news that I wanted to run through quick. So here, let's do this quick. Uh COVID COVID issues. So last year, Monday Night Football game, Raiders, New Orleans Saints, week 2 of the season. We got to see John Gruden and Sean Payton just spinning everywhere, pulling their masks down. And so the NFL decided that they would fine the Saints $700K for that everything they did last year in violating COVID procedures, and $800,000 to the Raiders. And I wish I had that money in my pocket.
Yeah, me too. I remember that Monday Night Football game. My roommate at college was asleep, and I was watching. I was laughing so hard just seeing like up close HD footage of John Gruden just spitting all over the field, and hearing Steve Levy go, "Oh, wow, John Gruden's got to cover up," and I just thought that was hilarious.
It's an interesting way to put it. Okay, Philip Lindsay signs with the Texans.
Yeah, I don't know who allowed him to do that.
Well, I mean, I'm interested. I mean, like I said, the Texans had nothing on roster at all before, and even if they're just finding cheap guys to sign, at least they're having names on their team now because after Watson was gonna be gone, and well, I guess Fuller too. At least that's our assumption at this point, that they'll both not be participating in on-field activities for whatever reason. Um, yeah, that team just is like a bunch of no names except for the guys they've signed now. So I like the idea
Mhm.
that they're adding people because oh my gosh, could you imagine watching this team next year without Watson or Fuller? Like who would they even have if they didn't sign anybody?
No one. They would have Chad Hansen and AJ McCarron.
Oh, well, I'm proud of you for coming up with a few names on the spot. That was impressive.
Yeah. I don't know how they sold Philip Lindsay on wanting to come and play in Houston. Like, you'll be the best player on the field on offense. Like that had to have been it. And then he was just like, yeah, sure, pay me 8 mil. I'll chill here for a year, put up some good tape, and then probably get a bag.
Well, I mean,
Like,
you got Tyrod too.
yeah, Tyrod time is a special time,
Is
but
are Ty?
it,
I finally think Tyrod, unless somehow they manage to sneak their way back into the first
if
round,
they
which
trade,
it looks
oh
it
my
looks
God.
like they're not gonna be able to, because the only thing they have to get themselves a first round pick kind of isn't very likely to be offered up for a large sum of things right now.
I if they find a way to get back into the top of the first round somehow, and they pick Zach Wilson and Johnny Manziel 2.0 becomes the next great NFL
I
quarterback
don't
because he
like
has to sit
saying
behind
that.
Tyrod.
I don't like saying that because
Oh
we
yeah, because
don't
he's
we
not as
don't
good as
like
Johnny.
we don't like Zach Wilson, but well, not we don't like him. We like him as a human. We don't like him as a football player.
I've
Um,
never met him personally.
oh, okay, that's true. Maybe I don't like him as a human, but I can't say that I for sure don't yet. But I'm not liking what I'm seeing on the football field. That's all I'm saying.
Uh, I
But the
just
problem is, if he takes Tyrod's job, that means that he's playing well. So the chances of it being Zach
or
Wilson
Tyrod
are
gets
actually
stabbed in the
low.
lung again.
Okay, but Herbert still played well after that.
Uh, I just gotta hope that Jack Easterby isn't in cahoots with whoever he drafts to get Tyrod out of there.
Oh
Maybe that's
yeah.
their hope. Maybe they hope that they could just draft like a quarterback late in the draft and then have him be the next big thing because they have Tyrod Taylor on
Did they
roster.
trade their second round pick this year?
Yeah, I think they did.
Oh my gosh, that's awful. Oh well. Desmond Trufant's a bear.
Yeah, you got to build around Andy Dalton, man.
Yep, and not Kyle Fuller.
No, no, no. You got to get rid of Kyle Fuller so you have the cap space to bring in Andy Dalton.
Yes. So I mean, here's great cap numbers now. Here's just, this series of events for this cap situation is just absolutely tremendous. Andy Dalton gets signed for 10 million. So they cut Kyle Fuller, who's gonna make 20 million, and then they sign back a guy, Desmond Trufant, to basically make it so that by dropping Fuller, they could get Trufant and Dalton. And now Kyle Fuller is going to Denver to play for less money than Ronald Darby is getting.
Darby is playing chess while the rest of the league is playing checkers. I called it. Like weeks ago that Ronald Darby was going to the Broncos. Now, did I think he would be as conniving as he is to get the money he did? No. Am I glad he did? Yes.
Can we make a deal right here, right now? Can we just make it a rule that if we ever mention Ronald Darby, no context to it, you just have to say I called it for the rest of forever. Like you just have to, we'll just reference Ronald Darby, and you have to say I called it.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I'm down for that.
Okay.
I really hope the Broncos don't find a way to make a playoff run, and he like blows a play or something that would have sent them to like the AFC Championship games that we have to talk about. It's just like, yeah, Ronald Darby really blew that play. Yeah, I called it.
Yeah. Next thing I have here is Deshaun Jackson is now a Los Angeles Ram, which interests me. I like the idea of well, we got them working like short to intermediate crossing routes on this play action most of the time. But then on top of that, I mean, it just seems like he fits the scheme. And then the once in a while where the play action turns into the shot play action is really interesting. And actually, now they have a quarterback with a stronger arm than they used to have. So this Rams team is piquing my interest fairly highly.
Yeah, Stafford with Deshaun Jackson is very, very interesting. I love it. I can't wait to see what they do with him in the offense because Sean McVay is going to find a way for him to make plays and getting the security. I think they extended Robert Woods too, so they have him for a while longer, and Cooper Kupp. It's going to be fun to watch. That Rams offense is going to be a lot of fun to watch. But another thing that I thought of the other day, it's really going to be hard if the Rams are bad because I feel like as fans we've always made some excuses for Matthew Stafford of like, oh, he's never really had a good team.
Oh, that would suck.
And if he finally gets this good team around him and still is like the team doesn't perform well, we're not going to like have excuses. We're gonna be like, wow, Stafford has just been mediocre this whole time, and everyone has been like, oh no, he's a top 10 quarterback. It's just he doesn't have a team around him.
I agree with you, but I don't
think it's going to happen, but if it does, it's going to be so
happening.
depressing because I've been defending Stafford for so long.
Like, at the worst, I think this team is probably a 6 seed in the NFC. At the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think they're
but
really
if they miss
really
the playoffs
high
entirely,
potential.
yes, if they miss the playoffs entirely, though, I'm going to just feel like crap because of how long I've defended Stafford. It's just like, wow, I guess it really didn't matter.
Well, everybody else is usually a lot higher on the Rams than I am, but now that they got Stafford, I'm gonna.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly how I feel.
I wasn't on with Goff, but Stafford, yeah, give me it. Devontae Smith only weighs 170 pounds, which is like 20 pounds lighter than me at least, and I don't even think that I'm that big of a guy. And he's got 3 inches on me. And he's the Heisman Trophy winner, so I don't know. That's just very strange. Like, oh man, I don't like that.
Yeah. But like I've said before when we were talking about him, he's built like me, and it's just really weird that he's got potential going the top three in the draft. And like when I look in the mirror, it's just wow. It's so weird. It's so
Professional
weird.
football player.
Yeah. And he's gotta find a way to put even more weight on because receiver or corners are just going to bully him.
I mean,
He's going to get jammed almost every single time. Well, he is fast, so he can find a way to run around him. But
I mean,
guys are going
it's
to be so physical with
the
him.
crazy part is like sometimes I'm like, ah, what is that small? And then I'm like, well, I'm watching high school football 2 days ago or whatever, and it's like there's a freshman on the field who's 6'1" and 220, and he's not like being stuck at O line. He's like playing skill positions, and I'm like, yeah, Devontae Smith is small for the NFL. A high school freshman. Yeah, he's small for the NFL. Like
Hmm.
weight wise, not height, but yeah, it tough. I don't know. No matter what team he goes to, they're gonna be telling him to bulk up no matter what. Like they're not gonna let him.
Yes.
Even if they may even just be like, "Hey, we're not even talking about muscle. Like literally, just get some fat on your body because you're too small."
Hmm. We're not going to have you doing sprints or anything. No cardio for the next couple of
Oh
months,
my
man. We just
gosh.
need you eating and then lifting.
Yeah. Um, and this this is a funny story right here. Michael Brockers gets traded to the Lions,
Yes.
so he has to apologize for Jared Goff for saying that Matt Stafford was a level up from Jared Goff.
Yeah, I saw that his defense for saying that is, well, I was just appealing to the fans, and now that I'm back with Jared, I mean, I talked to him man to man and told him that I just said that for the fans and it was nothing personal. It's like, come on, man. You never thought you were gonna play with that guy ever again.
Oh, yeah, you don't say that stuff like I don't I don't think anyone would ever be like that much in like to something that they would be like, let me just say this so that the fans are happy with it. Like how many people are like, geez, we just got a new quarterback, let's see what the second best defensive lineman on our team has to say about him.
Hmm. No, that's something that's been on his mind for a while. It's
Oh
just
yeah.
if we could just get Jared Goff out of here, anyone would be a level up.
um so Keanu Neal signed with the Cowboys, but more interestingly than that, he's gonna play linebacker for them, and the only reason that I really wanted to bring this up is just the fact that like it it feels like we're almost gonna be getting to a point, and um I kind of like that idea with at least from the small amount of stuff I've seen from the safeties in this class. Um, I just like the idea of basically making linebackers and safeties interchangeable nowadays, because like the size of a linebacker nowadays, um besides maybe like giving a linebacker a little more height, like you're kind of almost asking linebackers to be the exact same build as safeties, maybe plus or minus 10 pounds. Like it's really not that big of a difference.
Yeah, I like it. And I think the Sean McDermott defense, Brandon Staley is gonna do something with that, with his defense in LA. I hope he does because it's the next big thing, and he's the
Well,
Sean McVay of defense.
yeah, that's what you say. I mean, it's got to be the truth. Now I'm just waiting to see
Even,
what the innovation
even,
is, cuz you're telling me it's
even if
coming,
he,
but
even if he is terrible, I am still going to call him the Sean McVay of defense.
okay.
I'm sticking
Well,
to it. I'm sticking to it. I love him as a head coach.
well, don't worry. I'm staying on the Nick Sirianni bandwagon, so watch out. Even though honestly, like thinking about it, like I hate the Eagles roster so much, but Nick Sirianni, here we go. you got a lot more upside with your Chargers team than I do with my with my Eagles pick. So I don't know if you're just disregarding the coach and looking at the roster, you've got a big advantage.
I'd never disregard the coach when it's the Sean McVay defense, Brandon Staley.
Okay. Just quick on Deshaun Watson. It's looking like with how many people have said that he did some bad stuff. He did some bad stuff because it gets to a point where it's like that many people say it and it's like, oh geez, this must be consistent behavior. I can't imagine this many people would be lying about it.
Yeah,
Do,
it's
I mean, do you think? I mean, in the hardest, not the worst part, the hardest part to believe about it is like, Deshaun Watson before this was like one of the guys that you thought was doing the best stuff. Like, oh geez, this is bad, and it really does like just saying from my perspective, it looks like he probably did something wrong.
yeah, and it's really bad when you see stuff like what he did, what everyone else's perception of him as like, oh, this great guy that does a lot of charity work, which yes, he did do that, but at the same time, you don't know like what bad, heinous stuff is going on behind that. So,
Yep, you can never know anybody well enough.
hmm
There's always more to it. Last thing, the Giants get Adoree Jackson. I don't really care about the Giants getting Adoree Jackson. I'm just interested to see if I know anybody's name in the Titans secondary besides Kevin Byard at the start of next season.
yes, with how much the Giants are investing into that secondary, they better at least be top 10 in pass defense because they are dumping a lot of money into that secondary, into that defense in general.
Well, you see, the thought process here is there's no way we're going to be able to compete with a team that can throw the ball because we can't throw the ball. So the only choice is to try to get the best players so that the other team can't throw the ball either.
We got to try our hardest to make the opponent's quarterback look like Daniel Jones.
And actually, I forgot to write this down, but yeah, Kenny Galladay's there too. So that means that that actually means that it may balance it out. If they spend enough money on the secondary and get an overpowered enough wide receiver, it may balance it out so that like if they're playing like the worst pass offense in the league, or the second worst, because they'll be the worst. The second worst pass offense in the league, they may be able to keep up.
Yeah,
Nah,
I think
seriously.
it's.
Nah, that was a joke though. Where do you see the Giants at next year?
I could see them competing for a wild card spot. Maybe they don't have a chance to win the division. I think.
I don't.
Uh,
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna come close to winning the
um,
division.
as
I don't even know if they'll be that competitive for a wild card spot. Even.
but with the they might sneak in at the seventh spot. I don't know.
I think they would have to have a lucky season for that. Where did they finish in the NFC East last year, though? They were third. Or
They were second.
They were second. Okay, so yeah, if they're second, they're probably not gonna draw much of an easier schedule. That only influences 2 games each year, but if that can swing 2 games in your favor or 2 games against you, um, they're probably not going to get 2 easy games being second place in their division. So, yeah, I don't. I'm just gonna say that that's probably going to hold them back.
hmm
All right, you ready to talk some kickers and punters?
I've never been more ready.
I've I've never been just as not ready. Just not
Where do you want to
ready
start
at
with,
all.
kickers or punters?
I wrote a little bit about kickers first. I don't
Okay.
yeah, I don't have much to. It's not that in depth. Okay. Would you like me to just go like through my guys and then let you go through your guys? Because you seem to have a lot more guys than me. So
I have 10 guys.
yeah. So but I've only got 5 kickers. I'm talking
Okay,
about, and
okay.
4 punters. So if you just want me to run through my kickers, then we can do your thoughts on the kickers, and then yeah,
Yes,
let's do that.
sure.
Let's do that. So my first guy, I'll try to go through them fairly quickly. Evan McPherson maybe. From Florida. Number 19. he looks the part. He looks just about as kickery as you could, I'd say. Um, really average. Sophomore and junior year, 17 for 19 on field goal attempts, and then senior year kind of hit a slump, but based on what I looked at, he's still the top ranked kicker. But 17 for 22 isn't terrible in his senior season, so that's what I think. Next guy, number 2 ranked kicker, for me for the site I was using, Jose Borregales. Oh my goodness gracious, this man has some swagger to him. I mean, this is wild. I mean, he's got a tattoo down his right arm. He's wearing a shooter sleeve on his left arm. He's got a captain's patch. He's got face paint all over his face, and he's wearing a robot style like helmet, which I've never seen a kicker do ever. This is absolutely amazing. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. But he actually from what I'm seeing is he actually improved when he went from he transferred from FIU to Miami, and he actually improved a fairly decent amount when he transferred. My next guy is Riley Patterson. He kind of looks the part of a kicker, just like Evan McPherson did, and he had a good junior year, but besides that, he kind of missed too many field goals, so not too high on him. Quinn Norden out of Michigan, he improved over the years that he played, but he didn't have that great of a senior season. And my last kicker is the guy I'll be rooting for the most, but probably not the guy that I think will do the best. But it's Blake Lynch from Kansas State. He's 5'5", and that's just amazing. Whenever you can get a guy at that height into the league, you want to see him make it. So like Darren Sproles, but like kicking a football, it's great. Rudy, he's gonna be like the Rudy Award winner, and I just said that he's kind of mediocre and not that good, but I'm hoping for big improvements. If I had to pick a kicker that's going to be the best just based off what I said, though, I would probably guess that Evan McPherson, first guy I said, and like I said on the website I looked at, he was ranked number 1. I think they're right to judge that based off everything else I saw from other guys. I think he's gonna be the best kicker, in my opinion.
Okay. I have 10 kickers. I'll also I have notes about all of them. I disagree with you with having Evan McPherson as the number 1 kicker, though. I do agree he has the strongest leg out of all of them. I have Jose Borregales as the number 1 kicker. He's the Blue Groza winner. He has a really strong leg. Almost every single kick that I saw of his was right down the middle. Missed very few times from what I saw. Yeah, nothing. He's very consistent from almost every single spot on the field, both hash marks.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
He
with Mc...
I did admit I didn't mention to say this. His senior season numbers are like near perfect. You're right.
Mhm. Then 2 is Evan McPherson. Like I said, strongest leg out of all the kickers. He could make it from probably any spot on the field. It's just his. He seemed really iffy from like 30-ish to like 40-ish, and then was making everything from behind the 40 and everything inside of 35, and it was just like really weird. But that range though, that like 35-ish to 40-ish range, 30 to 40, that's where most of his kicks are going to be in the NFL.
Yeah.
Not saying he can't get better, because obviously you can. And if he can get that down, he probably has the edge over Borregales if he can master that range. But Borregales showed that he was consistent everywhere.
The funny thing that I have to mention quickly is actually by kicking in the NFL, it gets easier because the hash marks aren't as wide.
Yes, yes. At number 3, this is my favorite like prospect overall between both lists, is Chris Nagar.
Okay.
He's a kicker and a punter. He played at SMU. They had him kick, punt, and kick off, which is amazing. Love that versatility. Uh, he he's ranked as a or he's listed as a kicker for the coming into the draft. I think he should be a punter. His punting film was way better than his kicking film. He is amazing at kickoffs, and he's got such a nice like little squib kick that he did. He had a couple squib kicks against ECU, where he forced the returner to muff it both times, and it was awesome to see. Just he was kicking it like maybe 40 yards downfield, but it was just spinning like a windmill the whole time it was in the air. So he could probably have a lot of good opportunities for onside kicks. Seems like he'd be really good at it. I didn't see an attempt in the film that I watched, but I have doubt that he's not good at it or has the potential to be good at it. After him is a guy that he went up against in that film that I watched in Jake Verity at ECU. He's very consistent from all spots on the field. I think he was 100% on the season for extra points, which I mean, as like a fan, you expect that from a kicker, but you don't always get it. It's nice to see that.
You don't usually get it in college.
Yeah.
If you usually in college you're only making like 85% of those extra points, even from the 2-yard line.
Yes. And he has the Tucker strat for kicking field goals, and that's just if I kick it high enough, even if I miss, they probably won't be able to tell, which is magnificent. And what else do I have written down? Booming kickoffs. The dude puts it out of the back of the end zone almost every time too. So, and in the NFL, that's something that they really want. So I can see him getting drafted because of that. At 5, I have Hunter Duplessis. He has like a medium leg. He's not doesn't have the strongest leg. It's not weak either. Very very accurate. He rarely missed. I don't think he missed an extra point either, which was weird to see for like two guys to not miss extra points. And I think he was in the 90 percentage for field goals. I don't think he missed anything inside of 30. So, very consistent. Medium leg though, so anything that was like past the 45-ish range, he was missing short, and he didn't miss left or right, always missed short.
Jeez, that's
probably
a guy I'm staying away from that.
Yeah, it's hard to get a stronger leg, but I have him this high because of how accurate he is. And he's for having that weak leg for field goals, he's really good on kickoffs, which is just weird. I don't know if it's something like his form, if he just needs to like I don't know anything about like kicker form or mechanics or anything. Maybe if he just fixes his mechanics.
A minute. You didn't go to kicker camp your entire life?
Yeah, with how much I'm spewing, you'd think I did.
Yeah. No, I mean, you sold me.
But maybe it's just something in his mechanics that gets cleaned up, and his field goals would be better. But he was really good on kickoffs. It wasn't going out of the back of the end zone, but it was in the end zone consistently, and people were rarely returning the ball. Nice. At 6, I have Alex Kessman. I wrote one thing about him, and I noticed this in like 2 games. He goes to Pitt. Consistent, but he's not clutch. He was making a lot of kicks, a lot of big kicks. Very, very decent leg. But when it came to, I think it was a kick inside the 15 to tie the game, to send it to overtime, shanked it. And then he had another kick that was to tie the game, or to win it, I think, and he shanked it too. That's just one thing that I don't think you can learn or get better at, is being clutch. And
yeah, that probably would just, I mean, that's probably something that you just have to deal with in your psyche, and if you started compounding it enough, it would probably almost become impossible to fix it.
Mm-hmm. He seems really good. It's just I can't have him in the top 5 if you're not clutch, but I have him above the other guys because he makes kicks.
Because the other guys suck.
The other guys aren't that great. At 7, I have Riley Patterson. He has a strong leg. This is what I wrote. Strong leg, doesn't know what to do with it.
Aw.
Almost all of his kicks, he was just missing wide left and right. His leg is like a shotgun. He just it's got a large spray, and he's hoping that he makes it down the middle. Uh, yeah, I mean, I like it. I like to see that the coaches were confident and towed him out there.
He's pulling the trigger, and it's like, it's firing like thousands of like tiny. What are they called? What do you call the individual
Pellets?
pieces? Yeah, like pellets. And it's like, I don't know which one it's gonna come out of, but it's gonna be one of those 1,000 options.
Yeah, that's really what it seemed like. I love that the coaches were still kind because he missed a lot of kicks. What I saw, the coaches were so confident in him though. It's like 53 yards, sent him out there, and he made a lot of them.
Misses
but then there were
wide
some
right by 50
yes,
yards.
there were he missed one that was so far left. He was I think he was on the far left hash mark, which in college they're really far apart. But
he missed he kicked it far left.
Yeah, he just kicked it straight. It didn't seem like he angled it at all. He just kicked it straight.
That's fair. I thought you meant like he pulled it left when he was on
No,
the
no,
left
no, no, no,
hash.
no, no. He was on the far left hash mark and just kicked it straight, which is like he shanked it left
Which
from the
means
field goal.
that,
But he
well,
just kicked
which
it
still
straight.
in college probably means that it was at least 8 yards wide of the goalpost.
Yes. Yeah. Uh, 8 now. Quinn Norden. I saw he shanks a lot of kicks right. He favors that right side a lot. Even when he's all the way on the left, he's still a lot of kicks just drift right. Something in mechanics that you got to fix. I don't know what you're gonna fix. I'm not a kicker expert.
Well, you really for not being one, you're really making it sound like you're trying to be one.
So I have to reiterate that because I do sound like, hey, I spent some time watching film.
Oh, more than I did. I know that.
And then my other note that I have on him, he's consistent inside the 15, but he should be. So.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. He's really consistent close, but you should be.
We like that in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. At 9, I have Blake Hawbeal. I don't have your guy Blake Lynch on my list though. However, I have Blake Hawbeal.
I'm so sorry for yawning. I'm just actually so upset that you don't have Blake Lynch on your list.
I do have Blake Hawbeal out of Ohio State though. My only note that I have on him, he's this low because he's very inconsistent from beyond 35. Very rarely did I see him make a lot that was really deep. I don't think he I shouldn't say has a chance because everyone has a chance. If there's no preseason, it's gonna be hard for him. But he has the leg because it's all like making it there. It's just very like iffy on if it goes between the uprights. And then
so like, the key component of kicking.
Yes. And then at number 10, I have Keith Duncan. He just has the weakest leg out of everyone, and even if he was accurate, which he isn't that accurate. It'd be an accuracy like he has accuracy like Evan McPherson does, where it's like, okay, it's not even serviceable. It's good, but your leg is so weak that there's no point.
Man,
and McPherson has just a booming leg.
Man, I don't know how many people listening to this like are gonna love hearing this discussion, but I absolutely loved hearing your descriptions of those guys. I really did enjoy that. Now I'm much more educated on these kickers.
Oh, all right. What do you got for punters?
Man, I don't have much for punters. I kind of got less to say than I had about kickers. So I mean, but seems you're an expert, so I'm sure you'll take it away right when I finish up. Okay, Max Duffy, where simply all my bases are off yards per punt because that's important. Because I think that's important. Max Duffy from Kentucky, he's getting about 46 yards per punt. Looks more like a kicker. He looks looks like he could put some weight on if he's going to be punting the football. We want to see his leg really get into it, but 46 yards per punt was the highest average I saw, so that's good. Now, my favorite guy is James Smith from Cincinnati. He's 6'5" and 235 pounds. He doesn't look like that much of a beast of a punter, like in game, but I mean, just those numbers. I'm sure if you saw him next to some other guy, you would really see how intimidating he is of a punter. And he looks like he's left-footed as well, which is another just weapon to have to mess with the returners. Derek Adams, also Kent State, another lefty, is the next guy I want to say. James Smith was 44 yards a punt. Derek Adams from Kent State, 43.3 yards per punt. He's also a left-footer, so he looks pretty normal besides that, though. Not too intimidating. He's just a left-footed punter, so I mean, maybe that could throw somebody off. And last guy, Oscar Bradburn. So Max Duffy is the best punter, just in terms of yards per punt. But these last three guys all are left-footed, just to really screw with returners. But it seems like we're looking at NFL punting now, just like pitching in the MLB, where it's like we're going to actually have a 50-50 split between lefties and righties, even though it shouldn't be like that at all. So, so it's looking like if more and more of these punters get into the league that are left-footed, it's not going to be as much of a weapon, but for the time being, maybe it can still be important. And he's also left-footed, but he doesn't have anything too special to him besides 43 yards per punt, which is another decent total. Honestly, for college, it's probably a very good total.
Okay. I saw that you left a guy off your list, so we're gonna get there when we get there on my list. But number one, I have Max Duffy. He has a real big leg. A lot of his punts that I saw, because Kentucky really isn't that great of a football team. Where he was like backed up. He was backed up in his own end zone.
Oh, sorry. No, you're right. This is Kentucky. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Max Duffy. Yeah,
I'm still crushing. I'm still crushing on James Smith. I'm sorry.
No,
you're right.
If it was James Smith, Cincinnati has a good football team. But Kentucky doesn't. So he was backed up in his own end zone a lot, which caused him to take a lot of one-step punts, and he was booming those punts the opposite 45-40. Which that's all I really need to see. That he was doing that, because in college you got a lot of guys that are like taking 5-step, 6-step punts because they have that wall of blockers in front of them. But he was just one-step boom, and it was amazing to see. Yeah. Number two, I'm gonna need you to look this guy up for me real quick.
Okay.
So you didn't have him on your list. Presley Harvin III from Georgia Tech.
I actually saw his name in something, but then when I clicked onto it, it didn't pop up. All right. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this guy's more of a unit than James Smith.
Now he is 255 pounds. He's an absolute unit. He has a monster leg. The only thing that I have to knock him for, and why he's at 2, when he tries to coffin corner the ball or pin them like off of the sideline and not try to just do it and let the coverage team take care of it, it usually goes out of bounds like 10 to 15 yards before it's supposed to. But he can run fakes. He's very athletic. Yeah, that I have him at 2. He's very, very good punter.
I just don't understand, why does he wear these pants? These pants are cut off at his mid-thigh. He wore them in every game he played, and it's not like he's some like small guy. He's a big guy wearing these pants that are cut off at his mid-thigh.
He still wears the pads that he wore for like his sophomore year in high school too.
Oh, that's funny. You know what? What I was gonna say this before, and now I'm thinking of it. Now that I'm thinking about uniforms again, I really liked when I saw that SMU uniform that I looked up because of the guy you said. I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was, but I really liked how the SMU uniform looked.
For number 3, I have your guy, James Smith. The only note that I have for him is he had the biggest leg out of every guy that I looked at. He, Aussie punter. He can coffin corner really well. Puts some air on it too. Lets the coverage team get there. Yeah, and you already oogled over him, so I don't feel like I need to go that in depth more after that. Uh,
Okay, fine.
after after him, I have Drew Chrisman from Ohio State. Everyone may know Drew Chrisman from that video that SportsCenter always posts from the guy that's going to be like holding the ball for his girlfriend to like kick the field goal, and then he pulls out the ring and proposes to her. That's him. Uh, he gets the most airtime out of any guy that I watched. Uh, and that just creates a lot of plays where the guy that's returning the ball gets blown up because he doesn't call for a fair catch and is just waiting for the ball to get there. I don't think that's going to be something that happens in the NFL a lot. Um, but it was really fun to watch on his highlights. And he was also a two-time Ray Guy finalist, which gotta love the accolades.
Mm-hmm. Who won it this year? Do you have any idea? It's okay if you don't.
I do not.
Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of. I'm seeing most of these guys I was looking at are Ray Guy finalists, but I don't know who actually won it.
Oh, Presley Harvin did.
Oh, yeah. See, okay, so the real unit that I should have looked up. I mean, jeez, that man. Yeah, no, I think he's my favorite. I just didn't see him before. How does somebody make a list? Like, I'm trusting other people to make good lists, not myself. So how do you leave? How do you see that guy and just leave him off your list? What's wrong with these people?
Uh, yeah, I have no idea. After Drew Chrisman, I have Tyson Dyer, sorry, Dyer. He's from New Mexico. He lacks uh a lot of touch on his balls. I saw that there were some times where they're trying to get him to pooch punt, and he just couldn't do it. He was just not putting enough on it, and it was like, why'd you even punt there? You should have just gone for it if you're gonna go for a punt like that. But I think he just takes so much off of it because of how big his leg is, and I can't put him higher. Like I think where I have him at 5 is a good spot. I wanted to put him higher because he does have a huge leg. It's just he doesn't know when to take it off, and when he takes it off, he takes too much off. So if he can get that down, which I think he would if he gets NFL coaching, he's going to be good. At 6, I've got Oscar Dragovic the third from Washington State.
Great name.
Uh,
Great punter name.
he uh he was also a Ray Guy
Wait,
finalist.
question. What number in the list is this?
6.
How many how many kickers or punters have we seen like get jobs in 1 year in the NFL?
I have no idea.
Probably two, right?
Yeah.
Like two at each. Okay, just keep going. I just like wasn't even thinking about it until that point.
Um, but Oscar Dragovic the third from Washington State, very consistent. Had a lot of his punts inside the 20. And very few touchbacks as well. He was a Ray Guy finalist. I think his freshman, sophomore, and junior season, and then he didn't get it his senior season, or not the award, but even be a finalist. I think that's just because they're like, dude, we can't just keep putting you here. We have to give some other guys the nod. So,
Is finalist that big of a deal? Like I
uh,
and not just this award, but like any award. Do you really think like finalist is like you didn't win it?
I mean, I like that picture where it shows Charles Woodson, Peyton Manning, Randy Moss, and Ryan Leaf all at the Heisman ceremony.
Okay.
Um,
Oh jeez, man. Randy Moss was there?
yeah.
You could I didn't know that they would be willing to give it to a lower level college.
Well, when you got Moss.
That's true.
We're talking about skilled positions. I hate that. Let's get back to the real skilled position, punter.
Real
Dragovic,
skill
he's
position.
good. He's this low for me because I really couldn't find any film on him, but his stats showed it, and I just couldn't get the eye test with him. And I guess that's more on me for not being able to find
What
anything.
school did he go to?
Washington State.
Ah, yeah, they always undersell the talent at Washington State. He's gonna get screwed. Anthony Gordon didn't even get a job. He's not gonna get a job either. Sorry,
Hmm.
Washington State. It's messed up, but there's nothing we can do about it now.
And then after Oscar Dragovikovich III, we've got Oscar Bradburn. Uh, the only thing that I had of note to say about him, doesn't have the strongest leg, doesn't have the best touch or accuracy to really pin guys up against their own end zone, but he causes a decent amount of muffs. I saw a lot of times where the guy he puts so much spin on it, the guys are muffing it.
He's a
I know that's
lefty. He's a lefty.
yes.
It
I
spins
know that's a
different.
I know that's a valued skill at the NFL level, so he might get picked up because of that. And at 8, I've got Derek Adams out of Northwestern. He what do I gotta say on him? A weak leg, lots of spin.
Wait, out of
Uh,
Northwestern,
yeah, Derek Adams, Northwestern.
I see Kent State. Is there two guys named Derek Adams?
The film that I saw, he was at Northwestern.
Maybe he transferred. See,
Uh,
this is what's so hard about going through kickers and punters. Wait, let's. I want to see this then, because this is interesting. Did he transfer? Wait, I'm gonna search Derek Adams. Northwestern. Uh,
yeah,
okay.
it looks like he transferred for the 2021 season.
That's interesting. Okay, cool.
Um, but yes, he has a weak leg, lots of spin. I don't really see a team picking him up. But I mean, if you can cause muffs, which he does, he puts a lot of spin on that ball.
He's a lefty.
Uh, hey, exactly. Uh, he could get picked up by a team because of that. And then last but not least, I have LSU's punter, Zach von Rosenberg.
These
Fun fact
names
about Zach
are
von Rosen,
these names are awesome.
Zach von Rosen, he was ranked like the third or second or third punter in this one list that I looked at. I don't think he has a chance in the NFL. He played minor league baseball previously. He's 30 years old. Um, what do I say? Yeah, he's old. He's a former pitcher for a minor league team. And then I said I don't think he has a chance to make an NFL team purely because of how old he is, and I don't see teams being like, oh yeah, kickers can we can usually keep a kicker around, a good kicker or punter for 20 years if we need to. So let's bring in a guy that's already got 10 miles out of the tank, and then keep him around. Like I mean, you got a good decade left still, but I I couldn't find film on him. They have YouTube videos of him like walking around the LSU campus and like doing podcasts and stuff, but they have no film on him. His stats looked okay. Seems like a nice guy, but I just can't see NFL teams taking a flyer out on a 30-year-old punter. Yeah.
Who is even like the longest active single team kicker or punter right now? Who is it? I I don't know off the top of my head. Like
No
because
idea.
the guys that were long term before like kind of changed teams, so I can't even think of who it would be.
Yeah, I got no idea.
Um, and then the other thing that I was gonna say about the
Maybe
punt,
Mason Crosby?
yeah, that one, yeah, that's a good guess. I don't know if it's right, but that's a good guess. Um, the other thing I was gonna say is really what another stat is. I kind of focused on like yards per punt for kind of my thesis for all my guys. I don't know. There should probably be a stat for in terms of just yards per like air, not even air yards per punt, but like yards per punt before touched. So it's like you're not getting screwed over by your coverage team just sucking.
Hmm.
I mean that I think that would just be more logical and help these guys out a bit more.
Yeah.
But I
Uh,
mean, that's pretty much it. And then there wasn't enough. There wasn't enough long snapper film we could find to get a good look, right?
yes, yes. Unfortunately, I did look at the long snappers for when the kickers were kicking field goals and when the punters punted, but I didn't have names for any of the guys. But let me tell you, SMU's long snapper, if he's draft eligible, watch out.
Oh, okay. So a call out.
I'm just saying that
The,
because
the,
I like
the
yeah,
uniforms. The
no,
uniforms.
because I like Chris Nagar.
Oh, okay. Fine. Fair, fair, fair. Alrighty.
Uh,
Well, we talked about the news. We talked about the kickers. We talked about the punters. Did we miss anything?
no, that's I think that's covers everything. Yeah,
I agree.
awesome. Do you think we should just cut this here?